All right, all you salty dogs, welcome back to the Redneck Reefer. In today's video, we're going to be revealing the Aquascape on the brand new Red Sea Reefer 250 G3 that we set up upstairs. Make sure you check out the last video to see the unboxing and the build of that new tank. But in today's video, we're going to be adding the sand, adding the water, adding the rocks, and taking a look at the sump. So let's get started mixing some salt water here in this giant bucket. Let's go. All right, so we're adding the first bit of salt to the water as we fill up our 300-liter bucket. I've calculated that we'll need about 6 or 7 of these big cups. This is a 5-cup scooper, and about 6 or 7 of these of our Tropic Marine Pro Reef Sea Salt should do the trick. We'll be adding it bit by bit. And then letting it stir. Whew. Letting it go. We got our paddle from the inflatable rowboat, of course. We can mix up this water in the bucket. Now we'll let it sit at least a day probably before we add it to the tank. Make sure it's all fully dissolved. And we will be using the optical refractometer in order to measure that salinity to make sure we've achieved that 35 parts per trillion that we're targeting. We've checked with the reference standard earlier this afternoon, dialed in the refractometer right on that 35 ppt mark, so we'll be ready to go. We still have a little ways to go left with filling up the bucket. We'll add a few more big old cups of salt, and then we'll check where we're sitting. This our filtration is working really well. We've got the Arca My Aqua 1900 pulling water direct from our sink, and it's pumping really fast. So that's great that we don't have to wait too long. So definitely check out the last video where we went in depth on how the Arca My Aqua 1900 4-chamber filtration system works. But for now, we're just gonna let it fill on up and check back in a little while. All right, adding one more cup of salt. This is the third one here. You really start to smell the salt water. It sure smells good. The bucket is about halfway full, so we're gonna keep it running. Oh yeah, look at that. You can taste it. You can taste it. Give it a nice stir. Give it a nice stir. We want to mix it good. Make sure it's fully dissolved. That's nice. That's nice. Welcome back. So we've added all of the sand into the bottom of the tank. We've got our rocks in place as well. 3 separate rocks in this tank. And now we're adding the water. I don't really have a system, just sort of adding it in It's still very cloudy. That's expected. It'll clear up in a couple of hours once we're done filling it. But for now, we don't have a plan, but we have a goal. We're putting water in a bucket. We put a bucket in a tank. It's as simple as that. So let's just get it done. Trying to use these rocks as a breaker for where the water lands so that it doesn't mix up the sand too much. But we still got some time, so no rush. We'll fill it up, we'll let it settle, and it'll be good to go. A little easier to pour on the other side. That's all right. Splashing real nice. All right, one more bucket down, we go get another one. We got about 10, 15 of these, and then it should be good to go. Salty dogs. We got them salty dogs. Oh yeah, real salty. Once you get it going though, and it pours nice. Yeah, it sure is looking good. It'll take a minute to clear up. It's all right. We'll check back when it does. All right, I think this is what everyone's been waiting for. A nice look at the aquascape here from above. The water's still a little cloudy, but really starting to get there. You can see we've got our two main pieces and another small one here in the front. Some arches, a little cave, and then this big piece with some shelves. We'll be able to place a lot of coral at different heights in the tank here on these pieces. So that's gonna be nice. Got a nice thick layer of that Fiji pink sand. So we are really looking pretty good. And down below, all of the water coming from the overflow through this gate valve. We've got a nice balance set up between water coming down there and the water that's going back up the return pump line here in the far corner. Coming through the roller mat filter is set up and running. And then going into that protein skimmer. Make sure you check out our previous video on how this protein skimmer works to purify the saltwater aquarium water. We got this operated using the Reef Run dual controller over there. Working on our cable management. Still got some work to do, but getting started. We've got our ATO canister filled up with fresh water. Haven't yet set up the auto top off system yet. We'll let everything stabilize here in the tank. Make sure we don't get any fluctuations in the water levels, that we don't accidentally add too much fresh water. But for now, it's looking really good. I think we're still on track with the schedule. Add the heater and temperature control in. Get that auto top off running, and then we'll be about set. Got some lights. Got a screen to put on the top. A couple more little things. We'll probably take a look at those in the next video, and then we'll be ready to add some fish. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please put a like on the video. Definitely you'll want to subscribe to the channel to see the next updates, because they're going to be coming here in just a couple more days. And I think it's going to be some good ones. And I'll see you later.